don't believe it's been slitting my throat is all I ever heard your voice through a photograph. I thought that I've been brought up the past. Once you know you can never go back, I gotta take it on the other side. The centuries are what it meant to me. A cemetery where I married the sea. A stranger thing that never changed my mind. I gotta take it on the other side. Take it on the other side. Take it on. Take it on. How long will I slide? Separate my side. I don't believe it's fair. Slitting my throat is all I ever. Pour my life into a paper cup. The ice is full and I'm spilling my guts. She wanna know, am I still a slut? I gotta take it on the other side. The sky is started and she's in my bed. A candidate for the soulmate bled. Pulls the trigger and I pull the thread. I gotta take it on the other side. Take it on the other side. Take it on. Take it on. How long will I slide? Separate my side. I don't believe it's fair. Slitting my throat is all I ever. Cut me off, take me for a wild ride. Cut me out, leave me on the other side. I yell and tell her that it's not my band. I tell her down, I tell her down, and then it's for again. How long will I slide? Separate my side. I don't believe it's fair. Slitting my throat is all I ever had. I don't believe it's fair. Slitting my throat is all I ever.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, as always, Miguel Magallon. And as always, President, Founder, CEO of Magallon Entertainment. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back this evening. I hope everyone enjoyed their bitch-ass Super Bowl weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, we return to the podcast fully energized, fully reloaded, and 100% laser focused. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to discuss interest rates. Tonight we're going to discuss mortgage rates. Tonight we're going to discuss the stock market. Tonight we're going to discuss the crypto markets. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk again about this entire fucking economy and the state of the economy one more fucking time before tomorrow's epic inflation data report. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you guys already know what time it is on the podcast, when I'm about to teach you some shit, when I'm about to educate you on shit, when I'm about to drop knowledge on this bitch. You already know what time it is on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone get the pen in the pad, get the pen in the pad, get the pen and the motherfucking pads. And let us begin to learn. Alright, so we have the inflation report tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow, government's going to come out, tell us how bad inflation's doing. After that, all the YouTubers, all the Reddit people, all the Wall Street bet fucking pendejas, all the Twitter hoes, all the Instagram stars, all the fucking social media influencers, everyone's gonna come out, they're gonna have their own prediction, they're gonna have their own projections, they're gonna have their own forecast, everyone's gonna give their fucking bitch ass 2 cents about it. And at the end of the day, half of them will be right and half of them will be wrong. And then a month from now, we're going to do it again. And then another month from now, we're going to do it again one more time. And then a month after that, we're going to do it again and again and again and again. And so with that being said, that brings me to this. There are a lot of people who are long-term investors like me. And there are a lot of people who do a lot of trading like me. Swing trading, momentum trading, day trading, things of that nonsense, right? And I think for the most part, everyone, and I'm going to speak broadly here, ladies and gentlemen. I think for the most part, everyone is sick and fucking tired of hearing about inflation. I think inflation it's just become so fucking annoying now to talk about on a constant basis, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. It feels like we've just been talking and bitching and complaining about inflation for like over 12 months now. I think this is starting to become similar to what COVID cases were. You guys remember back in 2020, like every single morning we'd wake up and we'd try to see who has the most COVID cases and, oh my God, what's happening in New York? Oh my God, what's happening in Wisconsin? Oh my God, what's going on in Texas? Oh my God, what's Governor Newsom going to do in California? Oh my God, what's DeSantis going to do in Florida? He's probably going to tell everyone to fuck off because this is where woke comes to die. Remember that shit? And it would seem like every single day we would wake up during the pandemic 2020. And it felt for almost like a year and a half back then. You guys remember we'd wake up and everyone would turn on to like CNN or Fox News. And the topic of the day, the first headline everyone wanted to bitch and talk about was COVID cases, COVID cases, COVID cases, COVID cases. And I'm not saying it wasn't important back then, right? Again, hindsight's always 2020. But you guys remember like that was the focus of that was a topic of conversation. That was the focus of mainstream media. That was the only thing we ever wanted to talk about and discuss. And I remember at that time, because again, for a lot of you OG subscribers, for all of my day one subscribers, you guys know by now, I started this podcast in January of 2020. I've shared this story multiple times before, but I'll share it again because I keep getting new subscribers. We're almost at 165,000 subscribers now on the podcast. This podcast continues to grow, not just nationally, but internationally as well. I'm officially in all 50 states in this country. I'm in over 40 countries around the world, probably over 50 countries by now. I'm in different time zones. I'm in different continents. I'm really surprised this podcast is growing and spreading as fast as it is, but people want to listen to a Mexican that knows how to talk about investing, so fuck it. They're going to listen to a Mexican who knows about investing and most importantly can explain things in a way that makes sense to people. And in many ways, I motivate a lot of people. I might do it in a very aggressive manner. I might do it in a very ruthless, mentality. But at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of people that honestly just need a foot up their ass in order to get their day going. And I think there's a lot of people in this workforce that really need someone to talk to them in their ear and remind them every single day to stop spending their money on stupid shit and to invest all of their disposable income, because if they don't do this, then they're probably going to work paycheck to paycheck to the day they die. So I know I'm very aggressive. I know I'm very ruthless. I know I'm very, I'm very mean to some people on this podcast. But just because I yell a lot, just because I scream a lot, and just because I cuss a lot, doesn't mean that what I'm saying is wrong. It just means that in order for me to get across to as many people as I can in the most effective and efficient way as I can, I have to do it in a certain way. I have to communicate my message in a certain manner. I have to use certain techniques, like screaming at the top of my fucking lungs and making sure that you guys hear me, and not just hear me, but that you guys fucking feel me. Right? Like, I need you guys to really understand what I'm trying to get across, what I'm trying to say, and I need you guys to not just hear it once and then let it go one ear, in one ear and not the other. I need you guys to hear what I'm saying, and I need you guys to remember that shit for the rest of the day, for the rest of the week, for the rest of the month, for the rest of the year, and for the rest of your natural fucking lives. Because this investing shit, this entire mentality that I have and that I teach all of my subscribers across the country and around the world, that every single time you get paid, every single time you get a direct deposit, every time you guys get a payday, the first thing you need to do is make sure you invest some of that money before you spend some of that money, and you need to invest as much of your fucking disposable income as possible. And what you need to do for the rest of your life is stack as many assets and investments, not blunts and hoes like most of you guys do. But if you guys really adopt that mentality and you guys really, change your habits and you guys really take on this new philosophy, then yeah, one day you can, you will become a millionaire. And then eventually after that, you become a multi-millionaire. And then eventually after that, you become a multi-millionaire. And then after that, you become a multi-millionaire, and perhaps even a billionaire one day, right? But unfortunately, most people refuse to listen, and they choose to be poor forever. And if you're okay being poor, if you're complacent with being poor, if you're okay in your current living situation, and you don't mind living at your mama's house for the rest of your life, and you don't ever want to buy a car, you don't ever want to buy, some property, you don't ever want to own any real estate, you don't want to ever own any stocks, you don't want to own any crypto, you don't want to own any Bitcoins. If you're okay just going to work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and you want to do that when you're 30, you want to do it when you're 40, you want to do it when you're 50, you want to do it when you're 60, you want to do it when you're 70, and you want to do it when you're 80, and you want to do it when you're 90, if you're okay with that and you don't mind that, and, you're basically content where you are in life, and you don't really want to get ahead, you don't really want to progress, and you don't really want to move forward in life, then don't listen to this podcast, because this podcast is meaningless to you. But I think for the 99.9% of you that really care, that really give a fuck, that really fucking, you really do want to progress, you want to get ahead, you want to move forward in life, you want to become the person that you were meant to become, not the loser that you've become so far. You guys want to be fucking somebody, you want to be that motherfucker that can just do what the fuck he wants every single day of his life because he doesn't work for money, money works for him now. You want to be that motherfucker? Then you have to do what those motherfuckers do. Buy assets and investments. Assets and investments. Assets and investments. Stop spending money on stupid shit like blunts and hoes. Trust me. Nobody fucking cares. Nobody fucking cares. And every time you need people to care the most, that's when they fucking care the least. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate all of my subscribers. I appreciate all of you guys for not only listening to this podcast every single day and every single week, and trying to change your spending behavior, trying to change and update your investment habits and create investment habits. I thank all of you that not only subscribe to this podcast, but you guys try to recommend this podcast to all your friends, your family, your coworkers, your neighbors. You guys be really recommending this podcast to a lot of people in your life, and you guys forward a lot of my clips to a lot of your friends and family members and neighbors and coworkers, and you know what I mean? And a lot of you guys will tell me to add people to the podcast. Hey, General, can you add my cousin? Hey, General, can you add my brother? Hey, General, can you add my sister? Hey, General, can you add my wife to the podcast list? Hey, General, can you add this person? Can you add that person? And, every time I wake up in the morning, I get like 4,000 emails, and a lot of it is either questions about the stock market, questions about investing, or people asking me if I can add, people that they know, to the podcast list, and they'll say, hey, here's my sister's email, here's my brother's email, here's my mom's email, here's my dad's email, here's my friend's email, this is the homie's email, this is the homie's email, and a lot of people would just forward me like a bunch of different email addresses, and that's how I'll add them to the podcast list, and then you don't have to forward the podcast to them anymore. They'll receive it directly in their inbox. And just as a reminder, the reason this podcast is, the reason I keep this podcast underground and I'm not really on that many like media platforms or anything like that is, I think I prefer it this way because I feel like when I talk on this podcast and I say what I gotta say and I give you guys the information and I give you guys my perspective on things and I feel like I send it directly to your guys' inbox, I feel like it's more personal. I feel like it's more of a sense of like belonging, more of a sense of like you're a part of something, you're inside a community that nobody else really knows, or you know what I mean? No one really knows it exists. And I feel like not having to do any marketing, not having to beg people to click the fucking like button, just letting this thing grow organically, cause you guys know, like, I'm not out here fucking recommending this podcast on fucking YouTube, or I'm not on Facebook, I'm not on Instagram, I'm not on fucking TikTok, I'm not on Snapchat like any of these hoes, I'm not fucking begging people to subscribe or click the alert button, I'm not doing any of that shit. You either listen or you don't, like, again, I'm becoming a multi-millionaire whether you click the like button or not. I'm becoming a multi-millionaire whether you subscribe or not. I'm going to become a multi-millionaire whether you fucking listen or not. You see my point? So I never really understood the point of like getting on my hands and knees and begging people to fucking support the podcast or listen to my podcast or, please like the fucking podcast. Like, none of that really matters because I have so much money in my portfolio and my portfolio basically works for me now. Like, I don't need anyone to like me. I don't need anyone to subscribe to me, and I don't need anyone to follow me. You know what I mean? I just need my money to work for me because that's my only focus in life. Again, I don't work for money anymore. I make my money work for me. You know what I mean? I am the fucking portfolio manager. I am the fucking portfolio advisor. I am the motherfucking general. So, with that being said, I understand there's a lot of people that don't want to listen to this podcast or don't like this podcast because I yell a lot and I'm mean and I scream and I say a lot of cuss words and I play a lot of music they don't like and I'll say things that they don't agree with. And that's fine. I don't really care. Like, you don't have to agree with everything I say. You don't have to do everything I say. And you don't have to listen to everything I say, But at the same time, like, I'm going to say most of the time, maybe not all the time, but most of the time, I'm going to be dead right on a lot of the things I say. And I'm going to make a lot of predictions. I don't think I'm going to be right about all my predictions, but I'm probably going to be right about most of them. And as long as I'm right on most of my predictions, as long as I'm making the right call on most of my plays, as long as I'm making the right decision on most of my fucking decision making, then guess what? We're going to win the motherfucking Super Bowl. Did the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes go undefeated this year? No. They had some wins, they had some losses. But guess what? They won more than they lost. And in the moments where it mattered the most, in the moments when it counted the most, the moments when you needed it the most, Patrick motherfucking Mahomes, or as we like to call him on the podcast, Mahomesy, that motherfucker delivered. And that's the fucking point. I'm not here to win every single game. I'm not here to fucking get every fucking prediction right. But I'm here to get almost all of them right, if not most of them. And the ones that matter the most are the ones I'm going to get right the most. And when it comes to making the most critical decisions, when it comes to making the most biblical decisions, when it comes to making the game-changing plays and the game-changing play calls, I want you guys to know you have motherfuckers like me, Big Red, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomesy. I want you guys to know that you have a motherfucking general pulling the motherfucking trigger. And we're not going to win the Super Bowl every year, but damn, we're going to win a lot of them. You guys see my point? So, anyways, to sum it all up, just wanted to say thank you guys because you guys just, again, when I started this podcast 2 years ago, back in January 2020, I only had like 100 or 200 subscribers. I remember when I only had 15 subscribers. And now to be at over 150,000 subscribers nationwide and worldwide, over 40 countries, different time zones, different continents, different parts of the world, from Argentina to Venezuela to South Korea to Japan to China to fucking places like Hong Kong, places like Indonesia. I got subscribers in Singapore. I got subscribers in Guam. I got subscribers in fucking Thailand. I got subscribers in fucking Venezuela. I got subscribers in Colombia. I got subscribers in Hawaii. I got subscribers in Jamaica, Puerto Rico, down to the DR, all the way up to Canada, Wisconsin, New Orleans. I mean, everywhere. And that's a really special feeling. That's a really big honor for me. And I always like to give you guys that respect and appreciation that you guys not only continue to listen to the podcast on the regular, but that you guys keep recommending my podcast, and you guys keep sending me emails like, hey, add this person to the podcast. Hey, add that person to the podcast. And I'm like, sure, no thing. Thanks for fucking subscribing. And that's really powerful. That's really interesting to me, that people are not only recommending this podcast to their friends, but they're recommending this podcast to their family. They're recommending this podcast to their fucking coworkers. They're recommending this podcast to everyone they have in their lives, because they want to make sure that they're not only financially successful, they want to make sure the people around them are financially successful. And I think that's a really big fucking deal. Because, you know, for a lot of you guys, you have a lot of people around you who are in the same place in life. And I think everyone's just trying to get ahead. I think everyone's just trying to figure out a way to escape financial slavery. I think everyone's just tired of drowning in fucking debt. I think everyone hates their fucking bills. And I think everyone's just trying to find a way out. And maybe I'm the one that's there to lead you. Maybe I'm not. But, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe in God, and I do believe that God puts people in our lives and puts things in our life and put things in place in our life for a purpose and for a reason. And so maybe you guys are listening to me tonight because you were meant to. I don't know. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back this evening. I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen in the economy next. I think I'm going to tell you what's about to come to the stock market next. I'm going to give you guys my short-term, mid-term, and long-term price predictions for things like Bitcoin. I'm going to tell you what indicators I'm looking at. I'm going to tell you the macro. I'm going to teach you the micro. I'm going to give you all my predictions. I'm going to give you all my forecasts. I might not get all of them right, but damn it, I'm going to try to get almost all of them right, if not most of them. And at the end of the day, I think if you fucking ride with me, I think if you believe in me, and I believe if you place your faith in me, I'm going to take you to that fucking promised land. And we're going to win the motherfucking Super Bowl. And we're going to start stacking rings up in this motherfucker. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, get fucking ready. Because it's time to fucking learn.
Nation army couldn't hold me back. They're gonna rip it off, taking their time right behind my back. And I'm talking to myself at night because I can't forget. Back and forth through my mind behind a cigarette, and a message coming from my eyes. Hear about it. Every single one's got a story to tell. Everyone knows about it. From the Queen of England to the hounds of hell. And if I catch it coming back my way, I'm gonna serve it to you. And that ain't what you want to hear, but that's what I'll do. And the feeling coming from my bones says find a home. I'm going to Wichita, far from this opera forevermore. I'm gonna work the song, make the sweat drip out of every pore. And I'm bleeding, and I'm bleeding, and I'm bleeding right before the Lord. All the words are gonna bleed from me, and I will think no more. And the stains coming from my blood tell me go back home.
All right, let's get into it, everyone. So, we got the inflation data that comes out tomorrow morning. CPI numbers are going to come out on Valentine's Day. Go motherfucking figure. I think this inflation report is going to break fucking people's hearts. I really do. And, you know, if and when that happens, I'm going to come back on the podcast tomorrow night. And I am going to drop some motherfucking heat, and I'm going to come out on this podcast tomorrow night, and I'm going to take a motherfucking victory lap all over this motherfucker. Whoo! If this market dumps tomorrow morning on a hotter than expected inflation report, shit, you're going to see that. You're going to see the motherfucking general out here taking a motherfucking detour up in here, taking a big ass victory lap all over these bulls' asses, man. I am telling you, because I'm gonna be honest. This market has lasted, this market rally has lasted long enough. This economic fucking pump or better than expected numbers to start the new year has absolutely caught a lot of us bears off guard. And, I did not see this bounce coming. I don't think any of the bears really did. And the bulls have had this market by the horns, since the start of the new year. And I'm going to be honest, I'm tired of it. I'm sick and fucking tired of it. I'm waiting for this real economy to show itself, and I'm waiting for this economy to shit itself. I have been calling for wave 5 of the recession. It's been basically like, I want to say like July, August, September, October of last year. And I've been saying it over and over again on the podcast for like almost 12 months now, that this economy is headed into a recession, that the average American is already in a recession, and that I think this market is about to fucking tumble. I think it's about to crash, and I think this market is about to absolutely collapse in the first half of 2023. Now, does that mean that it can't go lower in the second part of 2023? No, it could even go make, newer lows in the second half of 23. But I still think that the absolute lows are probably going to get hit sometime this year. And I thought it was going to get hit in the first half of this year. If they don't get hit until the second half of this year, I'm not going to be sad or disappointed about it, because a recession is still a fucking recession. But I still think you're going to see the lows in this market. I believe the market's still going to hit new lows. I do not think the October lows were it. I know there's a lot of bears that are now bulls that believe the lows are in place, and you're seeing a lot of bulls start to turn into bears and they're starting to go into enemy territory and go off sides here. I am not one of them. I am still a bear. I remain a bear. I understand why some of these bears are starting to turn into bulls because some of the technicals do look good. But the only way the technicals look good is if the data stays good. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think as it relates to inflation, I think as it pertains to the CPI data, I think inflation is actually ticking back up again. I think inflation is still way too high. I do not think the Fed is going to pause, and I do not think the Fed is going to pivot. A lot of the bulls now, even some of these bears that are turning into bulls, there's a lot. I think all the bulls now have basically been saying that the Fed is going to start cutting interest rates in the second half of this year. I think all the bulls are saying that inflation is just going to keep going lower and lower and lower, and it's just going to keep slicing down like butter. I don't see that happening at all. I think inflation is going to be really, really sticky, and I don't think the Fed is going to pause. I think the Fed is actually going to keep raising interest rates, not just 1 or 2 more times. I can see them raising interest rates 3 or 4 more times, because I think that's what it's going to take in order to get inflation down to where they want inflation to get down to. But that leads me into a lot of other, perspectives. There's a lot of bulls that believe that either A, the Fed is going to cut interest rates at the second half of this year because inflation is just going to miraculously keep dumping lower. Again, I don't think that's true. I think inflation is really sticky. Some of the bears believe inflation is just here to stay because there's nothing they can do about it now, because it's more of a structural / systemic issue than it is, anything else. But then there's a lot of bulls too that they just believe that this war on inflation is over, that inflation is basically gone, that inflation is just going to keep dumping lower, that the lows are behind us, that the economy is, strong as ever, and it's all rainbows and unicorns, and everything's going to be A-okay. I don't share that. I don't share that thinking. I don't have that mindset. That's not my perspective. That's not what I see from my vantage point. And that's not what I see happening in the trenches. When I look deeper into the trenches, all I see is just destruction everywhere. I see a shit show, literally everywhere, and so one of the things the bulls will look at, and they're right about this, and I think we talked about this last week in regards to the unemployment report, but you guys remember, I think it was in the beginning of the month, beginning of February, sometime early last week, we got the jobs data, all the job reports. And basically what it showed was the unemployment rate has now dropped down to 3.3%. The unemployment rate is basically at a 50-year low. And the unemployment rate is, it's basically at a 50-year low. And the Biden administration came out during last week during Biden's, the State of the Union address. And I told you guys I was going to take the night off last week so I can go ahead and listen to it. I ended up having to go to my kid's baseball game, but I TiVoed anyways, and I watched it, and I rewatched it, and I rewatched it, and I rewatched it again, just to make sure I kind of, picked up on everything and looked at people's facial expressions, looked at, what Biden had to say and how different members of Congress and Senate were reacting to it, how the stock market was reacting to it, how Wall Street analysts were reacting to it. And if they took anything from it, or if it was just basically a glorified fucking, victory speech, just trying to get into the nuances of it. So last week I was listening to that State of the Union address, and, they talked about, Biden talked about the unemployment report, and he talked about how, there are more jobs than there are Americans looking for jobs, and how jobs in America are plentiful and jobs in America are everywhere. And, how can anyone think we're going into a recession if everyone has a job and everyone that's looking for a job can get a job tomorrow, because there's more jobs than there are job seekers. And I came out on the podcast the very next night, when I came out with the clip, The State of the Economy, the truth about this fucking national economy. And I told you guys that, the Biden administration is correct. The numbers are real. There are more jobs than there are people. And the unemployment rate is at a 50-year low. And this is the lowest unemployment rate we've seen in decades. And all of that is true. But at the same time, what else is true is that when I was telling you guys last year that we were going into a recession and you were going to start to see nationwide layoffs everywhere, and that all these companies were going to start cutting jobs, or worse, cutting your hours at your job, which I still argue sometimes is actually worse than just losing your job. Because again, when you get your hours cut back at work, yeah, you get to keep your job, but now what happens is you have to look for a second or a third job to try to fix that like income gap. And the problem is when you're trying to balance 2 or 3 part-time jobs at one time, now you're basically hoping that one manager is able to set you up for certain days, and then the other manager sets you up for the other days, and then the other manager, like you're hoping that they all work together and they can all come to an agreement on your schedule. But the truth of the matter is, none of these supervisors, none of them give a fuck about you. None of them give a shit about what's going on in your personal life. So a lot of these managers, they do this awesome thing of never scheduling you for the same days or the same weeks on a week-over-week basis. A lot of them will tell you to come in Monday, Tuesday one week, and then they tell you to come in Thursday, Friday the next week, and then the following week, hey, we only need you on Monday, Wednesday, and then the following week they might not need you at all. And then all of a sudden it's hard to balance like all these part-time jobs when all of them keep switching your shit up. And you never know when you're going to work or when you're not going to work, or when they're going to call you in to come in because, hey, so-and-so didn't show up to work today, so we need you to cover for them. And then the moment you tell them you can't, now all of a sudden the manager thinks that you're not dependable. All of a sudden they start saying you're not reliable. All of a sudden they're wondering why they even have you on the payroll. They start looking at you some kind of way. And so I think sometimes for that reason, getting your hours cut back at work is still arguably worse than just losing the actual job completely at work. Because if you just lose the entire job, then at that point, you're just applying everywhere else to just try to find a new job, especially if you can find one that's full time. But the problem is a lot of these, employers and a lot of these job companies out here, sometimes they're only hiring part-time. And we all know why. We all know what the reason is. They rather have 3 part-time workers than 1 full-time workers. Why? Because part-time workers don't come with any benefits. You don't have to pay for their health care. You don't have to do dental. You don't have to do 401k match. You don't have to give them an IRA. You don't have to provide a pension. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of benefits, especially depending on which state you live in. There's a lot of benefits that come with being a full-time worker. And so a lot of these companies, they just don't want to put up with it. Instead, they rather just hire a bunch of part-time workers, and just hope that, it all comes together in the end, because that way they can save money on their long-term, liabilities and long-term expenses, because now they don't have to pay, for all those extra benefits, you know what I mean? Especially long-term benefits. So, plus it's easier just to lay off part-time workers anyways, because you're not full-time. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's easier just to like lay someone off if they're only a part-time worker or a seasonal worker. It's easier to get away with that shit. So, with that being said, the unemployment report was real though. There are more jobs than there are people, and the unemployment rate is super low. But, shout out to one of my VIP subscribers. Shout out to Sasha out there in the ATL. Shout out to all my subscribers down there in the South in Atlanta. But, shout out to my VIP Sasha. She was texting me the other day, and she said, what do you think about these job numbers, General? Do you think they're real or you think they're fake as shit? And I was like, no, I think they're real. But my issue with the unemployment report I'm not disputing the fact that there are more jobs than there are job seekers. And I'm not disputing the fact that the unemployment rate is at a historic low. The bears will concede that all of this is a reality. All of this is true. But the other side of that is, and this is something I said last week over and over again, but I'll say it again tonight anyways. Most of the jobs that are being created and most of the jobs that are open on job opening websites right now, like Monster.com, Indeed.com, things like that, most of all of these jobs that exist in the economy today are all minimum wage jobs. And so I think on one side, I was correct on my prediction about the economy, but again, a lot of us bears were caught off sides on a lot of the good news that basically came out this year. So the bad news, which is what I predicted on the podcast last year in June, July, August, September, October, right? I kept telling you guys recession. And I told you guys that wave 5 of the recession was going to begin in January. And when 5 of the recession begins in January, you're going to start to see massive nationwide layoffs across the country and around the world. Well, guess what? In January, guess what happened? Everyone started doing layoffs. Microsoft's doing layoffs. Google's doing layoffs. Facebook doing layoffs. Intel's doing layoffs. Dell's doing layoffs. Yahoo's doing layoffs. Even the financial institutions. BlackRock is doing layoffs. Blackstone is doing layoffs. Citigroup's doing layoffs. Morgan Stanley's doing layoffs. Merrill Lynch is doing layoffs. Goldman Sachs is doing layoffs. Like you name the bank, you name the fucking company, you name the corporation, everyone in the Fortune 500 company is all just doing layoffs, from the home builders to the crypto exchanges that some of them are probably going to go bankrupt soon, to financial institutions, to credit unions, to banks, to home builders. I mean, you fucking name it. Everyone's just doing layoffs. And yet, somehow, some way, the fucking unemployment rate is 3.3%, fucking 50-year lows, and there are still more job openings than there are job seekers. So what's the fucking dilemma? What's the problem, General? Well, I'll tell you what the problem is. Again, and I said it last week, and I'll say it again tonight. All these people who are getting laid off are high-paid individuals. All of these jobs that are getting cut are high-paying jobs. All of these people who are losing their jobs are losing high-paying jobs. So what you're seeing is when Microsoft does a layoff, Microsoft's not laying off their minimum wage employees. Microsoft is laying off their engineers that are getting paid $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year. When Google, when Facebook, when Apple, when Tesla, when NASA, when SpaceX, when companies like this do layoffs across the board, they're not letting go of the fucking janitor. Someone's got to pick up the trash. Someone's got to clean the toilets. They're not letting go of the fucking minimum wage people. They're getting rid of the fucking high-paid individuals. They're getting rid of the managers, the supervisor, the supervisor's supervisor, the assistant supervisor. They're getting rid of all of these people who are usually getting paid six-figure incomes. They're getting paid $100,000, $150,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $600,000 a year jobs. And they're letting go of all of these people, right? Why? Because the economy is slowing down. They're not making as much money as they used to compared to 2022 or even compared to 2021. They're not making anywhere near as much revenue as they were making in 2021. I don't think any businesses really are, to be honest with you. Almost 90% of all businesses in America, large or small, are making way less money compared to 2021. I mean, damn, you know what I mean? Call up your local real estate agent. Ask him how he's doing since 2021. Again, nobody's making as much money as they did in 2021. I don't think anyone's really making more money than they were even in 2020, from now compared to 2022, excuse me. So, with that being said, all these businesses are starting to see a slowdown in growth. All of these businesses are seeing a slowdown in revenue. All of these businesses are seeing a slowdown in customer growth. And if they're growing, they're not growing as much as they used to be growing. So all of these businesses across the economy and around the world, they're all starting to slow down. And because they're not growing as fast as they used to, some of them aren't growing at all. And some of them are fucking, they're getting eaten alive by their competition, right? Because we have more businesses than ever at this point, quite frankly. So now a lot of businesses, because they're not making as much money, because they're not growing as fast as they used to, because the, revenue's not jumping, and skyrocketing left and right. Now all of these companies are what? They're downsizing. They're forced to fucking make some budget cuts. Now they're starting to cut corporate payrolls. Now they're starting to cut corporate expenses. Now they're starting to cut their CapEx, their research and development fucking programs. And what happens when you do all of these things? What happens when a company starts to do budget cuts? What happens when a company starts to downsize? What happens when companies start to make fucking, payroll cuts? They start letting go of staff. They start, letting go of non-essential employees and workers. So again, they're not letting go of the minimum wage workers because, again, you're not going to get rid of the security guard. Somebody's got to guard the building. You're not going to get rid of the janitor. Someone's got to clean the building. And you're not going to let go of the cafeteria lady. Someone's got to give you your bitch-ass food. So a lot of these big corporations, a lot of these Fortune 500 companies, they're not really letting go of their minimum wage staff because the minimum wage staff, essentially, you're not paying them that much anyways, and they probably do something that needs to be done. And you can sit here and say, well, anyone can do their job. Yeah, but at the same time, that's not really saving you that much money. Letting go of Rosita that works at the front desk as a fucking clerk, that only makes like $15-20 an hour, you're not really saving money by letting her go. But you know who you are going to let go? You're going to let go of Sabrina, you're going to let go of Stephanie, you're going to let go of Josh and Brylan and Skylar. You're going to let go of those people because those are the ones who are probably making really good money, who probably have some big ass benefits, and who probably aren't doing as much work for the company as they used to because business isn't as booming as it used to. So again, when the economy is strong, when business is booming, the economy is thriving, and you're giving all of these Americans across the country stimmy after stimmy after stimmy after stimmy after motherfucking stimmy, and you're giving them boosted unemployment, getting paid more money not to work than they were making when they were actually fucking working, and you're giving all these fucking fake ass parents that don't even take care of their fucking kids right, and you're giving them fucking child tax credits every fucking month, direct deposit on top of that, and you're giving them tax credit money month after month after month after month for all their raggedy ass day kids they don't even take care of and they don't even spend time with. You know what I mean? Yeah, you guys know who I'm talking about. All these fucking burnt ass, fake ass baby daddies that don't even give a fuck about their kids, and all these fucking, sorry ass moms that don't even fucking take care of their kids either. They just pretend they're a good mom. You guys seen it. Don't act like you guys haven't seen that shit before. So you have all these fucking parents out there, and I'm gonna be honest, most parents shouldn't even be allowed to be parents. They fucking suck at life. But for some reason, you need a license to fucking fish, but any fucking Bob also can have kids with anybody. You gotta be shitting me. I'm getting really sick and tired of seeing some of these fucking shitty ass parents not taking care of their kids right, not developing them, not watching them, not raising them right, and just letting them fucking, fuck off all day, and they don't do anything to actually raise their kids. I'm getting sick and tired of watching parents do that. But neither here nor there. The point is though, when you start to give all these people so much fucking free money, of course they're gonna fucking spend it. 99% of the people spent all their stimulus. Only 1% actually invested it, and even less than that used it to kill down debt. That's why when you do a lot of these surveys now, like, hey, post-pandemic, what did you spend all your stimulus money on? Did you A, spend it on stupid shit, or B, use it to, kill down your debt so you can fix your credit so one day you can move out your mama's house and buy a house for yourself? C, did you use that money to invest it in crypto or Bitcoin? Or D, did you use it to pay back any loans or debt that you had elsewhere, anywhere else? And for most people it was A, stupid shit, stupid shit, stupid shit. So now that all these people don't have any money anymore, no free money, and they have to go back to work and get a motherfucking job, right? Now all of a sudden, people don't have as much money to spend, so companies aren't growing as fast as they used to grow. They're not growing as much as they used to grow. And so now all these companies, again, they're faced with the harsh reality that, the economy is not as strong as it once was. And to be fair, it was only quote unquote strong because we artificially pumped it with fake money. And again, I'm not here to say that, we shouldn't have done that, or, we printed too much money, or, this and that. Because I told you guys, I think 2 weeks ago, that people like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, whether you love them or hate them, one of the things that they made it really fucking clear was that they wanted to print a bunch of stimulus, and they wanted to give out a lot of stimulus, and they wanted to print a bunch of free money. Why? Because something that's always bothered people like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and even people like AOC, again, whether you love them or hate them, doesn't matter. One of the things that they all really acknowledged was the fact that every time, we've gone through a recession in this country, the government has done one thing and one thing only. It only bails out the banks, and only bails out the institutions, and it only bails out people in government. Congress and senators and vice presidents and crooked ass politicians. But one of the things that Bernie, and Elizabeth Warren particularly, because they've been in government for like 100 fucking years now. They never die. They just keep getting reelected. But one of the things that they've always said is that every single time we've had a recession in U.S. history, the government never bails out the people. The government never helps out the people. Every single time in American history when we've gone through some shit in this country, whether it was post-World War I, post-World War II, post-Vietnam, post-9/11, post-this, post-that, and now post-pandemic, it feels like every time we done gone through some shit, we done did some shit, we done fucking, fucked ourselves over on some shit, The government's never there to bail out the people. The government was never there to help out the people. The only thing they ever do is just fucking bail out the banks like they did in the great financial crisis, bail out the politicians, bail out the fucking institutions, and bail out their campaign donors that paid for them to be there to begin with. But they never bail out the people. They never help out the people. They don't give a fuck about the people. They don't give a shit about any of us. They just want us to shut the fuck up and vote for them. That's what they really want. And so people like Bernie and Elizabeth and the AOCs, they said, you know what? How about for once, just one fucking time, we actually bail out the fucking people. And that's why they came out with things like boosted unemployment and child tax credit. And you guys can sit here all day and tell me it was all political. They were just trying to buy votes and they were just trying to get voters and buy their votes. And they were doing this and they were doing that. All of that could be true. But it doesn't change the fact that technically they were right. That, in every recession, the government's really never helped out the people. Two things can be true simultaneously. Two things can be true at the same time. Yeah, maybe that wasn't the only reason they printed all that money. Maybe they also wanted to print a bunch of money because a lot of it was going to stupid shit, and now we don't even know where all that money went. That's why all the time when we ask people, hey, where did all this money for this go? And where did all the infrastructure money go? And where did all the bipartisan bill money go? Where did that go? Where did this go? All of a sudden, everyone in Congress is Mexican. All of a sudden, they're like, ¿Qué? Oh, Pelosi? Oh, yeah, no, she no here. Yeah, ya se fui. Yeah, yo no sé nada. Like, all of a sudden, everyone fucking can't speak English. They're like, what? What money? Huh? There was money. We printed money? What? Nah, for real? What? We printed trillions of dollars and now we can't account for it? It just somehow went missing? We don't even know where we sent the money? What? Nah. And then these will be the same bitch-ass motherfuckers that want to send the IRS agents out here trying to ask you what you did with that $300 on Zelle. What'd you do with that $300 on PayPal? What'd you do that $300 on Venmo? These motherfuckers literally have the audacity to sit here and ask us what the fuck we did with our stimulus money. What the fuck did we do with, on Venmo? What are we doing with Cash App? What are we doing with this? What are we doing with that? All up in our fucking business. But the moment we ask them where all that infrastructure money went to, cause I ain't seen no fucking infrastructure lately, where the fuck that shit went to? Oh, all of a sudden now they're fucking Mexican. ¿Qué? Pelosi? No, ya se fui, ya, no, yo no sé nada. Like, what? Bro, you fucking kidding me right now? So, I mean, I'm telling you, the fucking audacities of these fucking pendejos, man, want to sit here and print trillions of dollars and then tell us we don't know where the fuck it went to, but then got the fucking nerve, the fucking cajones, the unmitigated gall to fucking sit there and want to ask me what the fuck I did with my stimmy. Bitch, what the fuck I wanted to do. That's what I did with it. Mind your own damn business. Bitch, because when you sent me that money and you put it direct deposit, you didn't put no fucking details in there. There was no fine print. There was no fucking disclaimer saying we're going to ask you what you do with this later on. Nah, all you did was give me the money and tell me to fuck off to help support small businesses. And at the end of the day, where did most of that stimmy money go to? Amazon, Walmart. Amazon, Walmart. And maybe some Victoria's Secret for all you sucias out there. But y'all know what I'm talking about. I mean, damn. I mean, these motherfuckers, man, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Out here talking, we demand to know what you did with your stimmy. Bitch, I did with it what the fuck I wanted to do with it. Don't sit here and interrogate me, bitch. Like, I'm telling you, these fucking ass clowns everywhere. So, anyways, though, look, going back to the unemployment report, though, and the unemployment data. Look, man, it's fucking real. And a lot of these companies are now downsizing, like I said, because now when the consumers aren't fucking artificially pumped with cash, right? And that's the problem. Like, moving forward, whenever we look at the 2021, like the economy, like, cause we're always going to look back at things. I think from now on, for the rest of history, we're always going to look back, and I think we're gonna take this out of context, and we're gonna forget these things. That's why I always try to teach you guys every night to remember this shit. But I think looking back at things, people are always going to say, man, the economy was so strong back in 21. Man, the economy was fucking thriving back in 21. Man, people had so much money back in 2021. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. The fuck they didn't. No. Back in 2021, nobody was fucking working. Motherfuckers were trying to stretch that boosted unemployment. Over here asking their congressmen to make it last for like 2-3 more years. Remember that shit? Motherfuckers refused to go back to work. They were trying to make boosted unemployment last forever. 2021 was nothing but stimmy after motherfucking stimmy up in that motherfucker. Child tax credit here, child tax credit there. So I think we need to remember, we need to stop looking at 2021 as, it was a strong economy, the consumer was strong, everyone had money to spend. No, it's because you gave us money to spend. Now you want to sit here and ask us what the fuck we did with it, bitch. Motherfuckers don't even know where they were at last week, and you want to ask them what they did with money 12 fucking months ago, a year ago. The fuck you think they're going to remember? Come on, bro. Don't be stupid. We all spent it on stupid shit. Get out of here with that. So, you want to know where the money went to? Go talk to the fucking drug dealers. They have a better fucking understanding of where that money went to, honestly. So, anyways, though, but yeah, so now you take all that free stimmy away, and now motherfuckers got to go back to work and get a motherfucking job. Now Amazon's not making as much money anymore. Oh, Amazon stock down 50%. Wow, what a shocker. Now people don't have money to upgrade their iPhones anymore. Oh, Apple stock going down. Units sold is going down. Oh, what a fucking shocker. Now people don't have money to spend as much on some of these fucking retail outlets like Victoria's Secret or Kohl's or here or Macy's. Guess what? Sales are down across the board. Oh, what a fucking shocker. Now people are having a problem paying their fucking car payments on time, and now repos are skyrocketing across the country. Oh, wow, unbelievable. I didn't see that coming. Because a lot of people started getting cars that they can't really afford because they thought that stimmy was going to last forever. They thought they were going to get that stimulus for life. Now all of a sudden they got to go back to work. Now all of a sudden work's not paying as much as it used to. Now inflation's still really fucking high. Now all of a sudden that paycheck don't stretch as much as it used to. Now all of a sudden people can't afford their car payments, and now people are getting their cars repossessed, and now everyone's on Facebook Marketplace trying to sell their car for a loss because they can't afford the payment anymore, but they don't want to get the car repossessed because then that's going to be on their credit forever. So now you go on Facebook Marketplace and you see cars for sale left and right. Oh, what a shocker. Unbelievable. Didn't see that coming either, right? So, the writing's on the wall. The consumer is fucking struggling. The consumer is fucking hurting. The average American is already in a motherfucking recession. American credit card debt is at the highest level in American history, over $5 trillion in credit card debt. The only jobs that are available for the most part is mostly minimum wage jobs at McDonald's, at Chuck E. Cheese, at Food for Less, at Vallarta, at Smith's, at fucking Little Caesars Pizza, at Domino's, at fucking Red Robin, at Del Taco, at Taco Bell, at fucking Subway, at Burger King, at fucking Arby's, cause we got the meats. We just don't got any customers cause nobody cares about your bitch ass. But, you look around the board, America, and most of the jobs that are hiring, most of the jobs that are available are minimum wage, minimum wage, minimum wage, minimum wage, minimum wage, minimum motherfucking wage. And all these people who are getting laid off, all these people who are getting massacred, all these people who are getting their jobs cut, all these people who are getting booted out the company, all the people who are losing their fucking jobs, their 401ks, their pensions, they're just getting kicked out the front fucking door. Guess who it is? It's high-paid, high-salaried workers. And so now you go to Silicon Valley, you go to San Fran, you go to LA, you go to Chicago, you go to New York, and you look at a lot of these big job markets, and a lot of these companies, again, the entire Fortune 500 basically told us during earnings seasons, in January and early February, like 80%, 90%, almost the entire Fortune 500 is literally telling us every single fucking day, we're doing more layoffs, we're doing more layoffs, we're doing more layoffs, and then we're going to do more layoffs. And again, they're not letting go of fucking, Rosita at the fucking front desk. No, she barely speaks any English, but she can get the job done, and it's minimum wage. And someone's got to answer the phone, someone's got to pick up the phone. I get it. You don't need a master's degree to fucking take voicemail all day, but, you're not really saving money by letting her go either. Somebody's got to do it. But you're letting go a lot of mid-level management. You're getting rid of a lot of supervisors. Why? Because you don't need them anymore. Because business isn't booming. Business isn't thriving. Business isn't skyrocketing. Companies either A, aren't growing as much as they're used to, or B, they're not growing at all and they're fucking losing business. They're losing fucking money right now. You know, and you see that a lot right now on Wall Street. There's a lot of companies who are cash flow negative. There's a lot of companies that are fucking struggling. There's a lot of companies who can barely pay their debt. There's a lot of companies that might fucking go bankrupt soon. You know? Look at companies like in real estate, for example. You know, KB Homes and companies like Toll Booth Brothers, they're probably going to stay alive. They're probably going to do, you know, really well for themselves because those are well-managed companies. But then you got companies like fucking Open Door or OfferPad or BuyMyHouse.com. All of a sudden, when the real estate market ain't as hot as it used to, it's really hard for home flippers to make money compared to before, compared to 2021, compared to 2020, compared to even into early 2022. Mortgage rates up 3%. You know, then you look at the crypto industry. There's not as, you know, when you give people stimulus check after stimulus check, everyone wants to buy, Coinbase. Everyone wants to invest in Robinhood. Everyone wants to put money in Dogecoin. Everyone wants to believe in Shibu is going to the moon. Everyone wants to invest their money in a bunch of shit coins. But all of a sudden that free money goes away. Now all of a sudden, what do you know? Nobody has money to put in Dogecoin anymore. Now all of a sudden, nobody talks about Shibu anymore. Now all of a sudden, GameStop is really just like an afterthought. Now all of a sudden, nobody wants to buy AMC and roll with the apes. Now all of a sudden, Bed Bath & Beyond is declaring bankruptcy. Now all of a sudden, this meme stock bullshit's going away. You see my point? So, you know, there's a lot of industries and there's a lot of sectors that are getting fucking massacred right now. It's a fucking bloodbath. And those companies right now who are struggling to survive, you really think they're going to keep all their mid-level managers? You really think they're going to keep all the fucking senior vice presidents? Get the fuck out of here. So you see a lot of companies right now on Wall Street just downsizing. And what does downsizing mean? It means layoffs. So, you know, I fully expect that you're going to continue to see a lot of high-paying Americans lose their job. You're going to see a lot of people with careers lose their fucking, you know, their place in the workplace. And you're going to start to continue to see, a lot of people who are making good money. All of a sudden, they're going to get another job that doesn't pay as much as their old one used to. And, you know, the sad part is, you know, and you see this in a lot of recessions, you know, you're going to start to see a lot of people lose their high income jobs and they're going to have to settle for less. And all of a sudden, you know, it's not as easy to get a $300,000, $400,000 a year job. Now all of a sudden it's going to get harder and harder to make six figures. And the gap between the haves and the have-nots, as my man Sherwin always likes to say, that gap between the people who got it and the people who wish they had it, that gap, that divergence, that fucking, that hole the size of the fucking Grand Canyon is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, and the gap between the poor and the rich and the gap between the middle class and the ones who thought they were middle class, that gap's going to start to continue to get bigger and bigger. You know? So, I think, unfortunately, that's what you're going to continue to see in this economy. So I think in the grand scheme of things so far, because this game ain't over yet, we're barely at halftime. Don't forget, Kansas City Chiefs were down like 10 points or some shit like that at halftime, came back, fucked around and won the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes out here, MVP, you know. I mean, he's winning at life. I mean, I still think he's married to a basic bitch, but that's fine. You know, but motherfucker's the MVP. He can do it all, even on a fucking sprained ankle. Motherfucker's throwing touchdowns everywhere. I mean, this motherfucker, man, he's special, man. So, anyways, though, yeah, I don't think the game's over. I think we're at the halftime. I think we're right around the halfway point now. And now I think it's time for the Federal Reserve to stop fucking around and start to make it clear to the markets and start to make it clear to market participants that they are not going to do any interest rate cuts this year. And I think like they've told us time and time again, but the market refuses to listen. So I think the Federal Reserve needs to get off their fucking ass. I think they need to fucking go to Walmart and buy a pair of balls because apparently they must have lost theirs. And they need to get at the next Fed press conference because the last one they fucked up. And I think they need to make it crystal fucking clear. I think they need to scream at the market. I think they need to yell at the market. I think they need to start getting fucking serious. Grab your fucking balls and say it with your motherfucking chest. Ain't no motherfucking rate cuts coming this year. Ain't no motherfucking pause coming soon. Ain't no motherfucking pivot on the motherfucking table. Bitch, They need to get the fuck up there on their fucking stupid ass podium and fucking say that shit with their motherfucking chest and let the market know we ain't fucking around. We're not playing no games. Inflation is still too fucking high. And therefore, we're going to continue to do rate hikes. And we're not going to take our finger off the trigger. We're not going to take our foot off the pedal. And we're not going to pause. We're not going to pivot. And we're not going to back down until we get inflation in full, complete, total fucking control. And then maybe, just maybe, next year, sometime in 2024, right before the fucking election, because you know how that shit goes, we'll start to cut interest rates. And the moment we start to cut interest rates, yeah, inflation's probably going to start to tick higher again. But guess what? Stocks are going to go higher. Crypto's going to go higher. A lot of cryptos are going to explode. Bitcoin's going to start skyrocketing again. And real estate's going to start going gangbusters, one more time, otra vez. And when that happens, guess what? All of a sudden, by the time you get to the election, you're going to start to see the economy getting stronger and stronger. You're going to see the stock market going higher and higher. You're going to see Bitcoin start skyrocketing and skyrocketing. And you're going to start to see crypto going to the moon again. And then you're going to see Biden come back out, and he's going to give another victory parade speech. He's going to take another victory lap on these hoes. And he's going to say, look at me. Look how strong the economy is. Da-da-da-da-da. And, you know how it is. All the Democrats are going to vote for him no matter what. All the Republicans are going to vote against him no matter what. And all the independent voters are going to be lost no matter what. They're going to try to figure their life out and see if they still want him as president or not. But you know how it is. During an election cycle, during an election year, the incoming president is always trying to lower interest rates, and he's always trying to get the stock market to go higher. He's always trying to get real estate to catch on fire. And now more than ever, they're going to start to want to get crypto and Bitcoin to go higher and higher. Because the higher Bitcoin is and the higher crypto's fucking skyrocketing and the better real estate is and the better the stock market is and the better the economy is, the better the chances are that fucking incumbent president gets reelected again. And at the end of the day, that's all they really give a fuck about. That's all they care about. They don't give a fuck about me or you. They just want to stay in office. Get over it. So, again, not here to tell you the way the world should be. Here to tell you the way the world motherfucking is. So with that being said, Bears, I think we've been right for the most part this year, and all of last year again. I contend that I don't think the U.S. economy is going to go into a recession until probably the second half of this year. I do think a recession is inevitable. I think a recession is basically guaranteed at this point. I'm gonna trust Elon Musk. I'm gonna trust Bank of America. I'm gonna trust JP Morgan. I'm gonna trust the CEO of Wells Fargo, and most importantly, I'm going to trust the juggernauts like Blackstone and BlackRock that all basically agree in unison that there is a fucking recession coming, and when it hits, it is going to be an absolute annihilation. It is going to be a bloodbath, and it is going to be a motherfucking massacre. And I know I play this clip all the time on the podcast, but I really do feel like it's important to listen to it, so I'll play it one more time. This is the CEO of JP Morgan Chase basically talking about the recession that's coming out there, and he basically says the recession that's about to hit the U.S. economy is going to be an economic hurricane. And 2 weeks later, Jeff Bezos, the former CEO of Amazon, the founder of Amazon, came out and he agreed with JP Morgan Chase. He agreed with the CEO, Jamie Dimon himself. And he basically said, Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, is absolutely correct. There is an economic hurricane that's about to hit home, and most Americans need to start battening down the hatchet and getting their finances in order, because when this bitch fucking hits, when it makes landfall, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. And now Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, and Bill Gates all agree that when this recession hits, it is going to kill a lot of people. Take a listen.
It's a hurricane. Right now it's kind of sunny. Things are doing fine. Everyone thinks the Fed can handle this. That hurricane is right out there down the road coming our way. We just don't know if it's a minor one or Superstorm Sandy or Andrew or something like that. And you better brace yourself.
But then again, they're all just dumbasses, right? They probably don't know anything. They're just a bunch of jackasses, even though they're the ones who have access to all our bank accounts. They're the ones who have access to all our finances. They're the ones who have access to all our credit card statements. They're the ones who know more about your money than you do. But don't worry! They're all probably wrong. No big deal, right? So anyways, though, yeah. And then, so I continue to see these layoffs happening. And, I think the only ones who are going to be left hiring are going to be minimum wage jobs. And then I think that gap between the haves and the have-nots, again, like my man Sherwin always talks about, I think that wall, that gap, that size of the Grand Canyon, that hole in the ground is going to continue to get bigger and bigger. And I think even the divide between the middle class is going to start to get divided more and more now. I think it's going to be harder than ever to be real middle class. I think there's a lot of people who think they're middle class or who thought they were middle class, and they're going to start to come downhill too, because they're only one layoff away from seeing them, their finances go away as well. So we'll see how that part plays out. But I continue to believe that inflation is just way too motherfucking high. There's been a lot of reports lately. Gas prices starting to skyrocket again. Commodity prices have been skyrocketing. A lot of food costs are going up. Last month everyone was, complaining about eggs and oh my God, egg prices are so expensive. Excuse me. Now I'm hearing orange juice is expensive. I'm like, damn, it feels like every other day there's fucking something else. If it's not fucking eggs, it's orange juice. If it's not orange juice, it's bacon. If it's not bacon, it's cereal. If it's not cereal, it's oat milk. If it's not oat milk, it's this, it's that. It's always fucking something. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, can't we ever fucking catch a break? It's always fucking something in America, man. There's always something that's too expensive. There's always something that's going up in price. There's always something that's skyrocketing, But the problem is for most Americans, again, most Americans can barely afford to pay their bills right now. Most Americans are struggling paycheck to paycheck. Most Americans don't have money for any investing. Most Americans don't have money to buy assets. Most Americans barely make enough to pay their fucking credit card bills. Most Americans, are just fucking trying to figure out, if they have to move back home with their parents or not. Most Americans can barely afford their fucking car payments. Most Americans are hoping they don't get their hours cut back at work. Most Americans hope their company doesn't downsize and then ends up downsizing their ass. Most Americans are just trying to figure out how the fuck they're ever going to make it to the finish line. Most Americans are trying to figure out if they're really about to work every day for the rest of their lives now. Most Americans are just trying to think like, what the fuck? What am I going to do with my life now? So I think that's the story of most Americans, and I think that's the state of most Americans. I think that's the face of the American consumer. I think that is the situation that most Americans find themselves in, and therefore I believe that is the real state of the economy. So we'll see what tomorrow's inflation report shows, but I believe inflation is still way too high. I don't see rent prices coming down in a meaningful, significant way. And I would argue that in a lot of the big markets, LA, New York, Chicago, Miami, in the place where it has like the most people who live in it, those rent prices are actually going back up again. I'm talking to real estate agents in San Diego. I'm talking to real estate agents in Texas. I'm talking to real estate agents out here in Vegas. I'm talking to real estate agents fucking everywhere. And they're all telling me like, yo, in the hot markets where there's a lot of people that live at, those rent prices aren't coming down at all. Rent prices are coming down out there in the suburbs or, out there in the middle of buttfuck nowhere where, nobody should really be living anyways. Yeah, maybe rent prices are coming down there, but like in the big markets, rent prices are still really fucking high. Rent prices are not really coming down at all. And in some cities, rent prices are going back up again. Fuck y'all talking about? So I don't see any drop off in rent. Maybe you guys can tell me, but I don't see any landlord saying I'm going to reduce your rent by $200-$300. Fuck no. I still see landlords trying to increase the rent $200-$300. Fuck out of here. Ain't no discount for your bitch ass. Fuck no, America. Fuck no. Fucking no. So no, man. I don't see rent prices coming down at all. And then you look at housing prices. Like housing prices are still really high. I mean, I get it. They're nowhere near where they used to be in the peak levels of 2022 or the peak levels of 2021 or whatever. I get it. It's not at an all-time high, but let's not act and pretend that real estate is crashing. Like, it's not coming downhill anytime soon. And again, I told you guys time and time and again, I don't think the real estate market's going to crash at all. I said that like 900 times now, but I'll say it again. The real estate market, in my opinion, will not crash. I do not see a 20-30% crash happening at all. I could be wrong. And you know what? If I'm wrong, I'm going to be happy about it. I want real estate to crash. I want the housing market to crash. Cause I'll be all up in that motherfucker going ching, ching, discount, bitches. Oh boy, I wish a motherfucker would crash the housing market. I wish that motherfucker would reset. Oh, shimmy, shimmy. Let that motherfucker burn to the ground. I'll be all up in that shit. Whoo! I'll pipe that bitch down like a big booty hole. I'm telling you right the fuck now. I pray to God, I wish real estate prices in Vegas would come down 40-50%. Sheesh! You know what all these millionaires and billionaires in America would do if real estate prices would come down 40-50%? Shit, no mames way! These motherfuckers would be buying everywhere. And then 2-3 years from now, you guys be bitching again. All these rich people own all the houses. How come all the rich people own all the houses? Bitch! Because when they were broke like you, they didn't spend their money on stupid fucking shit like fucking Modelos and a bunch of cheap ass, dirty ass weed and some nasty ass pussy from these loose ass hoes. They didn't spend their money on stupid shit. They weren't spending every weekend trying to kick it with the homies, get fucked up with the homies, smoke out with the homies. You know, get fucked up with your coworkers, go to the fucking kickback. They didn't do that when they were in your position. You know what they did? They stayed their ass fucking home or they worked fucking overtime because they were trying to buy as many assets and investments as humanly fucking possible. That's why they got the Mercedes-Benz. That's why they got the Maybach. That's why they got the Rolls Royce. That's why they got the fucking Lamborghini. Or as the man Andrew Tate would like to say, the Bugatti. Right? You guys want to make fun of them, but shit, got more money than your bitch ass, don't they? So trust me, they were in your position once. You guys act like all these rich people were born rich. Fuck no. Most of them comes from the fucking ghetto. Most of them come from the slums. Most of them made it out the mud. Most of them grew up in your fucking community. Most of them come from the motherfucking barrio. And guess what? Now they're fucking multi-millionaires and you guys still living at your mama's house. So get the fuck out of here with that shit. But nah, man, I don't see real estate crashing at all, America. I really don't see real estate crashing. Not no 20, 30, 40%. The fuck out of here with that. My only thing I ever say about real estate, and I say it time and time again, and I'll continue to say it, even though it hurts a lot of real estate agents' feelings. I think real estate already crashed, but I don't think it happened in the buy side, and I don't think it happened in the sell side. I think it happened with the middleman. I think the real estate industry is what basically crashed, because as soon as these home builders stopped building as many homes and as soon as they started to slow down construction because no one qualifies for a fucking home loan big enough to buy a house in their local, market, now all of a sudden the home builders aren't building as many homes as they used to. And if you're not building as many homes as you used to, guess who fucking gets the short end of the stick? The construction workers, Jose, Juanito, Raul, Felipe, Jose, Edgar, Miguel, Lupe, all these motherfuckers. Guess what? Now all of a sudden they don't need as many people because they're not building as many homes. Does that make sense? All of a sudden, I don't think I need as many real estate agents because there's not as many homes to put on the market. All of a sudden, I don't need as many brokers. I don't need as many refi guys. I don't need as much marketing. I don't need as much PR. I don't need any of that shit because I'm not building as much as I used to. I'm not selling as much as I used to. I'm not making as much money in real estate as much as I'm used to. And it's not just the home builders, it's also people like the home flippers. All these people in 2020, 2021 out there on YouTube and TikTok and Facebook. Look at me. I know how to flip homes for a living. I flip this home, I flip that home, I flip that other home. Look at me. And now all of a sudden I don't see them nowhere. All of a sudden they're not making as much money as they used to, which means they're not having to pay their own employees as much money as they used to. So I think if anything, that's where the crash happened. It happened with the middlemen, and it happened with all the other people that, like the industry at large. It happened with everyone else, right? It happened with the middlemen. It happened with everyone else that makes money in real estate. So it happened. So the crash happened, And the only people who were protected was basically the seller or the buyers, because the property value really didn't go down that much in value. There's less bids on the market compared to 2022 and 2021, but there was no real crash in real estate, and I still don't think there'll be one. But again, I think it's everyone else that got screwed. But I will say this, one last thing on real estate before I move on. And I say this as well over and over again, but it's really important you guys remember this, because I think for most of you guys, this really, really matters. If real estate were to crash, all kidding aside, all jokes aside, I'm not trying to be funny anymore, but like being dead ass serious. If real estate were to crash and you saw real estate prices come down 30, 40, 50% tomorrow, would it really matter? Probably not. Not really for most of you. You want to know why? Because even if real estate prices went down 30, 40% tomorrow, most of you still don't qualify for a home loan. Most of you guys don't have any money for a down payment on a home. Most of you guys don't even have money in your savings account. Most Americans right now, average Americans, right? The ones that I say are already in a recession. Yeah, most of you listening to me tonight across the country and around the world, most of you guys have less than $300 in your savings account. So how the fuck are you going to sit here and be like, oh man, I can't wait for real estate to come down so I could take advantage? With what money, bro? Most of you guys don't even have 300 in savings. Most of you guys you guys spend more money on weed than you do on stocks. Most of you guys spend more money chasing pussy than you do chasing your future. I'm being serious too. I'm not even trying to be funny. It's a fucking fact. Most of you guys, the reason most of you guys are losers is because you're just not prioritizing your fucking value. You're not prioritizing your future. You talk about it, but you don't actually be about it. You talk fucking you're going to do this and that, but you ain't done shit with your life yet. So, you guys can sit here and try to watch all these YouTube videos and all these fucking perma bears that say real estate's going to crash and this is all 2007, 2008, 2009 again. Who cares, bro? The only people who are going to take advantage of it are the people who have money to take advantage of it. The only people who are going to benefit are the millionaires and the billionaires, not your bitch ass. What's going to happen if real estate crashed 30, 40% tomorrow? You really think you're going to buy a house in that market? With what fucking money? Most of you guys don't qualify for a home loan. Most of you guys still got fucked up credit. Most of you guys ain't done nothing to fix your fucking credit. All that stimulus, all that fucking child tax credit, all that fucking boosted unemployment, all that free money you guys are getting, and you still got fucked up credit. You guys got no assets, no investments, no money in savings. All you guys have is credit card debt, student loan debt, and bullshit ass loans. Most of you guys ain't no fucking situation to buy a fucking home anytime soon. And your debt to income ratios all jacked the fuck up. So how are you guys going to buy a home tomorrow? So you guys can sit here and keep asking me, General, you think real estate's going to crash? You think real estate's going to crumble? You think all that, if the economy goes into a recession, then that means real estate has to crash. No. Just because we have a recession in the economy doesn't mean real estate's going to crash. But even if it did crash 20, 30, 40%, oh my God, it doesn't matter. You guys have no money for a down payment. You got no money in savings. You don't qualify for a fucking home loan. Get the fuck over it. You guys act like there's going to be this special fucking moment in history where somehow all these houses are going to be 50% discount and you're going to walk in with your $200 and buy a home. Like, do you guys really think you guys are going to buy a home in LA for less than $200,000? You guys think you're going to buy a home in San Diego for less than $200,000? You guys think you guys are going to buy a home somewhere in fucking, Jamaica or Puerto Rico or Hawaii? You guys are going to buy a home for anything less than $1 million? Fuck no. So stop acting like you're going to go to San Francisco or you're going to go to Silicon Valley or you're going to go to New York or you're going to go get a house in Texas because everyone's moving to Texas. Stop acting like you're going to get a home on the low. Stop thinking you're going to get one for super cheap. You're not. You don't qualify for a home loan. Your credit score is all fucked up. No money for a down payment. No money in savings. Jacked up credit card debt. What the fuck are you guys thinking? What are you guys talking about? You guys can sit here and fucking keep, hoping and wishing for rainbows and unicorns that all these houses are going to be 50% off. Even if they were fucking 80% off, 60% off, 99.9% off, you still wouldn't be able to fucking get a home loan. So what the fuck does it really matter? You guys see my point? So I think for most of you guys listening, like 90% of you guys, if you guys don't own your home already, honestly, bro, just get your shit together. Keep buying assets. Keep buying investments. Kill your fucking, your debt. Fix your fucking credit. Kill your fucking loans. Stop spending your fucking money on stupid shit. Stop. Some of you guys are fucking almost 30. Some of you guys are almost fucking 40. And some of you are almost 50. And you're still broke as fuck. Still ain't where you want to be in life. But you're going to text me and fucking email the general. Yo, what you think about the real estate crash, bro? The fuck are you talking about? You know, like, bro, you work at Jack in the Box. Why are you fucking emailing me? What you need to do is save your fucking money. And I get it. I get it, guys. You know, I don't want to end this clip on a bad note. But like, most of you guys really don't make that much money, and I get it. You know, it's not like all of you guys have a fucking master's degree or a bachelor's degree or a PhD. I get it, right? But if you guys don't make that much money and you guys are making minimum wage or almost minimum wage, or you guys are getting paid $15, $20 an hour, that's cool, right? But what do I always tell you? It's not about how much you make. It's about how much you fucking invest. Keep fucking investing. Keep stacking your portfolio. Open up a fucking Roth IRA. Make sure you max out your Roth IRA every year. It's a $6,000 contribution max every year now. And they just fucking upped it recently too. I think almost to like $6,500 now. I mean, damn. So start saving for retirement. Otherwise, you won't ever retire. You know, or you won't have a retirement. You know, if your company does a 401k match, fuck with it. Get that free money. Get that extra money. They want to contribute to your fucking retirement? Let them contribute to your fucking retirement. You know? Start putting money in that shit. Buy fucking stocks. Buy something. I don't give a fuck what it is. Fuck. If you believe crypto's the future and you think the entire world is going to be crypto 5-10 years from now, then start loading up on cryptos. Maybe it goes lower, maybe it doesn't. Who gives a fuck? You're a 5 to 10 year investor, right? And if it goes lower, you'll just buy more, right? There you go. Keep stacking. Keep buying. You know, look, I told you guys, I think Apple goes lower, I think Amazon goes lower, I think Tesla goes lower, I think Microsoft goes lower, I think Google goes lower. I think a lot of these stocks go lower because I think the Fed has to keep increasing interest rates. And I don't think there's going to be a pause coming anytime soon. But if and when that happens, guess what? Load the fuck up. Pull the fucking trigger. And this summer, when all your fucking stupid ass, pinche, dumbass, baboso ass fucking friends, pinche, sangano motherfuckers are out here all summer, going to Vegas, going to the lake, going to the river, going to Six Flags, going to Knott's Berry Farm, going here, going to the raid, going to the kickback, going to the party, going there, you know, and they're posting all their stupid ass pictures on Instagram. Guess what? I want this to be the summer you focus on yourself. I want this to be the summer you focus on your future. If that means you have to stay home all summer and be fucking depressed, then fucking do it. Sacrifice one summer so you can enjoy the next 10, the next 20, the next 30. Damn, man. But I'm telling you guys, this summer, I want you guys to focus. This summer, I want you guys to be dialed in. You know? And it starts right here, right now. Stop spending your stupid fucking money on stupid fucking shit. And get fucking ready. Because inflation's not going away. Inflation's here to stay. Inflation ain't going nowhere no time soon. We are still in the fucking war zone, and we are still on the fucking battlefield. So make sure you guys are doing what you have to do. Make sure you guys are focused. Make sure you guys are listening, and make sure you guys are motherfucking prepared. And for the few of you, and I mean the very few of you, right, who are ready and willing to become a maxed out VIP subscriber, and you want to learn how to short the market, you guys want to learn how to short the economy, and you guys want to make money watching this fucking bitch burn to the motherfucking ground, for those of you guys who are interested in becoming a maxed out VIP subscriber and riding with the motherfucking general VIP package, you guys want that smoke, you guys want that heat, you guys want to be about that motherfucking life, you guys want to learn how we short this motherfucker, then VIP fucking package opens officially Friday night on midnight. Ladies and gentlemen, the VIP package opens up this fucking Friday. I'm going to leave it open from this Friday to the beginning of April. And then after that, I'm closing it out for the rest of the fucking summer. Because this summer, I'm burning everything to the motherfucking ground. And I'm going to short this motherfucker full stacked. If you want to be ready for that, if you want to be a part of that, and if you want to ride with me on that, VIP package opens up this Friday. More details to come soon. If you're ready, if you're willing, and if you want to be about that life, and you want to catch that heat, and you want that fucking smoke, you guys know where to reach me. You guys know how to contact me. and you guys know where the fuck I am. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for listening to the one, the only, the motherfucking General. Magallon Entertainment!
I'm gonna fight 'em all. A 7-nation army couldn't hold me back. They're gonna rip it off, taking their time right behind my back. And I'm talking to myself at night because I can't forget. Back and forth through my mind behind a cigarette. And a message coming from my eyes says, leave it alone. Don't wanna hear about it. Every single one's got a story to tell. Everyone knows about it. From the Queen of England to the hounds of hell. And if I catch it coming back my way, I'm gonna serve it to you. And that ain't what you want to hear, but that's what I'll do.